Here's a few notes on Evan Mobley's defensive play. On this tight pick and roll is an example of how poised he is on defense. The guard gets flushed out of the play by jumping in the air. Mobley does an excellent job of staying between the ball handler and the roller, because if he comes up closer to defend the ball handler, that will leave a clear path for a pocket pass and an eventual dunk. Or if he drops back too early to defend the roller, that will leave the ball handler an open mid-range jumper or an easy floater. Later on in this play is where we see the potential of Mobley on defense. Here, number 13 sprints to defend the three-point shot and gets out of position on a pump fake again. This play speaks to his defensive awareness and his ability to recognize quickly that his teammate is beat on the fake. I mean, this is a lot of ground to make up, going from the baseline to blocking a three-point shot, and his length definitely aids him here. Long strides, and he gets to this pretty easily. On this next play is a pick and roll on the top of the key. Mobley steps out. He's in semi-drop coverage. He's in excellent position to defend the guard and stay with him if he decides to drive, or he's also within striking distance of blocking a jump shot if the guard decides to shoot in this position, because he has enough length to make up that ground to cover this guard if he decides to shoot this ball. Now, if he was in a deep drop coverage now, that would make things a lot harder. So this is a good strategy here by the coaching staff to put him in that little semi-drop coverage on the pick and roll. Now here is where he gets into trouble. So the guard decides to attack and go downhill. And look at the push-off that the guard gives him. And watch where Mobley ends up after the push. I mean, that's a guard using his body against a center. And that pushes him all the way off his spot defensively. So this speaks again to Mobley's lack of strength if he's getting pushed around by guards. Later on in the play, he still gets the block off the big by using his length, but strength aside, his length is going to bail him out a great deal at the next level. This next play is also to further drive home the strength issue. First of all, the offensive player baits him into giving up prime post position. Look as the offensive player's body language says that he's going baseline and then deceptively gets in the post-up position. This is a crafty move here by the offense. Mobley's not ready for this. He offers little to no resistance against the offensive player. Picture this guy trying to stop Embiid or Jokic on the block with his defensive effort. So on this play, the offensive player uses his body, and that prevents Mobley from getting to use his length at all. He has no chance of blocking this shot. So there's no space between Mobley and the offensive player, and that basically neutralizes him on defense. So if you body him up, it seems that he'll fold up and you'll be able to get a bucket inside. So on this play, the offensive player is going to shy away from using his body against Mobley. And that gives him a ton of space to operate and use his length. As opposed to the last guy who was bodying him up and destroying him in the paint. This guy shies away from the contact, and that's to Mobley's advantage. He has a 7'4" wingspan, and if you give him the opportunity to use it, it's game over. Next play, same scenario. Look at how much room is between Mobley and the offensive player. This gives him a lot of time to size you up and make a defensive play, because now he's able to move freely how he wants in the paint. You know, he can move around. If you're not bodying him up, you got to put a body into him and take away his length. If you try to play the speed game, it's not going to work because his length is too much. So this guy tries to beat him to the spot on the baseline. Against him, you have to play the strength game, not the finesse or the speed game, because I mean, he's too good at blocking shots. The guy was #1 in the country in block shots for a reason.